Top Rope Reality Episode 110. And we have just got through watching Battleground, and it was a very good pay-per-view.
It was. We usually film before the pay-per-views, but we did a little something different. So we just got done watching the pay-per-view. Great pay-per-view, a lot of good matches on it.
Oh yes. Well, let's start off with some more news from Mr. Brock Lesnar.
So he failed another drug test.
Two tests.
Things are now looking even worse for Brock. UFC has been informed by the USADA that Lesnar has failed another in-ring competition test. The most recent one was taken the night of his fight, but we do have news that Brock Lesnar and John Jones, neither, will be fined by the UFC for their failed drug test.
That's a smart thing to do, because
I wonder, though, if the USADA
they can still
fine them.
Yes, they can still fine them.
Okay.
But UFC, that's small on their part, because they fine John Jones and don't fine Braun. John Jones, there's a lawsuit waiting right then, you know.
And exactly, both ways. If you don't, if you do one with one and you don't do the other, it looks really bad. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. But we do know that from what I've been reading is that they're not taking Brock off of SummerSlam.
No,
tonight they were promoting SummerSlam. They were promoting Randy Orton when he talked to Jericho. And they promoted the fact that the match was happening. Yeah. So it doesn't look like they're going off a script on that one and taking the match away.
So anything he did in UFC does not matter for WWE.
But now if they drug test him, which I would think there might be some pressure on them that the night of his fight against Randy, he should be drug tested, in my opinion.
They may.
He should be drug tested, and then if that comes back as a fail, he should then be suspended for 30 days.
Yeah.
He's never there anyway, but that's the way you should do it.
Oh yeah. Some news that come out of the draft.
Yes, Monday night when they started to announce the GMs.
Yes. Which we'll talk about in part 3.
Yes.
Well, this part we will not talk about part 3. We'll get it out of the way now in part 1.
All the Cruiserweight stuff we're talking about in part 1, but yes, WWE decided to relaunch the Cruiserweight division, and it will be exclusive to the Raw brand with Stephanie and her general manager.
And it sounds like whoever wins the Cruiserweight Classic will become the first Cruiserweight champion.
You would think they would be the champion. The trophy thing, to me, is a little bit
They'll
ridiculous.
get the trophy, and they'll be the new Cruiserweight champion. Yes. I believe that's where they're going to go.
I'm wanting to see what the title looks like, because we know they're not going to do the same old with that title belt right now. They should not. But, and there's announcements going crazy that quite a few of them are getting signed. Mm-hmm. They've already got, which we'll talk about in part 3, they got some people already that go with the weight division.
Yes, but what weight division are they going to go? Are they going to be 205? Are they going to be 205? I've seen 215.
Well, see, 205 is the Cruiserweight Classic. 225.
Yeah, 225 is they named all these people that could be in it. That's no.
Right, but 225 was the WCW version. And I think the version that WWE used to do. I think they should still go with the 205. They keep the integrity of the Cruiserweight Classic intact.
And not everybody can be in it.
Not everybody can be in it, and
you get the weight.
We'll talk about that in part 3, but there's only, I think, 3 on the roster that actually qualify for the 205. So we'll talk about that in a little while. But we do know we just watched it. There was a tag team match that was announced for the Battleground Kickoff show. So the total amount was 9 matches.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's going to be the thing. 9, 10 matches now. Being that when they are together, you know, you got to get equal brand time for each show.
Yes, so like we were talking about a while ago, SummerSlam you need to have 1 Raw pre-show and 1 SmackDown pre-show match, and then you need at least 4 and 4 to keep it even for the wrestling matches on the actual pay-per-view.
But the kickoff match was the Usos SmackDown team. We'll talk about that later. Taking on Breezango, a SmackDown team. So it was a pretty good tag match.
Yes. And if you haven't watched it yet, you definitely need to watch it. By the time this goes up, should have done watched it. But I do think the interesting thing was what they did with Breezango and how they reacted to them.
Yes. But that's just the Washington crowd. Let's see what happens.
Right, let's see what happens as they go forward, and let's see if they capitalize on the Washington crowd. And, you know, maybe that Monday's crowd, or what are they, SmackDown? So Tuesday's crowd, let's say, you know, they pick up on what Washington did, and they keep it going. Let's see if WWE capitalizes on that.
Let's see. And also, speaking of Raw and SmackDown, they have new logos that the general managers announced on I think it was on Twitter.
So I think it was on Twitter. But see,
Yes.
the Raw logo is more or less like when Mick Foley was around. The Raw's War logo has that block look. It almost actually looks like the block look when they had the big RAW that set in the actual arena that you could, like, people used to jump off of and stuff like that. It actually looks like those block letters like that. And then the SmackDown Live, I do like the SmackDown Live logo.
I do too.
How you have a little splash of blue in there, and it really makes that blue pop out. But I really think that this is a good thing. Let's see where the rest of this goes. We already have a new logo. We already have distinct rosters. We're going to have distinct champions. We'll talk about all that later. But at the same time, what does this mean for the sets? What does this mean for the opening songs? What does this mean for the video package at the beginning?
All change? That
should it change?
Everything
yes.
should change. Yes.
They should have two different. You know, of course, the beginnings are just going to have the Raw roster on the Raw one, SmackDown roster on that. But you know, they already have a Raw song. They already have a SmackDown song. Do they change that?
Is it time?
Is it time to already go ahead and change that? Do they change the? You know, they had the entrance with the HD entrance. You could do an HD entrance, but have them unique to both shows, and not just have that little. The big screen with the rounded screen at the bottom with their names and stuff on it. I think you can have Raw maybe stay like that, and then SmackDown have a different look to it. You know, it is what it is.
They need two different looks. If they're supposed to be two different brands, two different looks.
Absolutely. But now we're going to move on to the WWE Cruiserweight Classic tournament. We're continuing with the first round. A total, what this has done, I think it's total 8 people that's gone on so far.
8 people after this will have been advancing to the second round.
Your first match, which I just watched this last week, phenomenal. Tajiri from Japan taking on Damian Slater. It makes you want to say Damian Sandow, it really does.
Heath Slater.
Heath Slater. They'll probably change his name if they hire him.
Yes.
But he had a good look.
From Australia.
From Australia. But the winner, because you know, they kept talking about the experience level, was Japan's Tajiri moving on to the next round. But it was a very good matchup. They put the two people together.
The matches are getting better and better and better.
I don't know who's coming up with how they put it together, but they're putting together the right people, that's for sure.
Yeah, they are.
They got good chemistry in the matches. Your second match is T.J. Perkins, or they call him TJP.
TJP is what he says in Evolve. So.
Yes, I think TJ, once if they hire him, which they should.
They should, yeah.
They should just call him TJP. Not T.J. Perkins, just call him TJP, so that way when he's done in WWE, he can go back to being T.J. Perkins again on the Indies. But he, even though he lives in America, he's representing the Philippines.
Yes.
Taking on Damac.
Damac, who still believes in Michael Jackson.
He does. He comes out moonwalking, which Carmelo's probably not happy about.
Wearing the red jacket and the glove. He has the glove,
He does have the glove, but he's representing Germany, and this match ended in a submission in a phenomenal match.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal. Great chemistry. Where the winner was T.J. Perkins from the Philippines.
I mean, TJ, he could be at odds on in the Fatal Four. Final Four there.
He's definitely going to go far, I think.
He should, yes, definitely, because he's got the look and he's got a lot of good skill.
And I think TNA's probably kicking themselves in the butt there.
Your third match, was Mustafa Ali from Pakistan taking on Lindsay Dorado from Puerto Rico.
We've seen Lindsay Dorado live in person a couple of years back at the WrestleMania of the Gulf Coast. And Mustafa Ali, representing the Pakistan, very interesting. I think he lives in the States.
He's in the Chicago.
And he's in the police department.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm looking at current events, how interesting this is. How they choose him. Because his name on Facebook, which I just added him, is not Mustafa Ali, it's a different name. But that is a very Pakistani type name, a very Muslim almost type name.
Yes.
But then it's like, you know, there's a lot of racial divide going on right now, and then they say, hey, this guy's in the police department. It just shows right there we can all get along.
Right, so we need to all get along.
We need to all get along. But this was a phenomenal match. Mustafa Ali, I thought, broke his neck.
Yes.
Reverse Hurricanrana. But
the Spanish Fly, don't forget the Spanish Fly.
The Spanish Fly was phenomenal. And going outside the ring and everything. But Lindsay Dorado out of Puerto Rico, which I figured he was going to move on anyway. They really focused on him a lot.
They did.
And he's moved on. when when they're focused on him really big, when let's say Dorado, he gets to keep a Dorado name, and Grand, which they're not calling him Metallic, it's Metalik. Grand Metalik is how I heard it. But they changed his name.
Metallic, so.
Because, what's his name said it different with the other guy.
So.
But Grand Metalik, or whatever his name is, his original name, the last name is Dorado. So apparently they mean a lot. They want Dorado to have that name, apparently. So.
And maybe they'll get signed. He'll get signed. I see a lot of people.
A lot of people getting signed. They need a big division. They're going to have a big division. In your fourth match.
And you made the middle of the night, yes.
Yes, very big match with Tozawa. Akira Tozawa from Japan. Taking on Kenneth Johnson, which he kind of looks a little old in the face. I was like, how old is this guy? But I think he's about 30, really.
Yeah, but that's a phenomenal match.
Yes. And a lot very different. One's very short, one was very tall and lengthy. I thought it was going to be a very odd matchup, but Johnson kept going. He never would stay down.
No.
Phenomenal match, and representing Japan, Tozawa moved on, which he's been one of the odds-on favorites.
Yeah.
It could be Tozawa taking on a fellow Japanese Bushi in the finals. I would not be shocked by this. But the competitors that advanced to the second round of the Classic is Ibushi, Cedric Alexander, Grand Metalik, Ho-Ho Lun, or Loon, whatever it is, Tozawa, Lindsay Dorado, Tajiri, and T.J. Perkins. And then next time we go over these matches.
Yes. It'll be Tony Nese, your boy Tony Nese, will take on Anthony Bennett. Zack Sabre Jr., another favorite in this tournament.
Yes, he is.
Tyson Dux, Drew Gulak taking on one of the brothers, one of the Bollywood boys, and Raul Menendez taking on the Brian Kendrick. And what they're telling us more on that, so.
Yes. So that's your next round of matches, and we'll go over those next week. But up next time. That's right. We got to tell you about that in a minute.
Next time, yes.
Up next in part 2, pay-per-view review, Super Brawl. That is 7, 8, 9.
As we're getting on down, because next time will be only 2 left.
Yes, just in case you're not watching part 2, 3, and 4, which you need to watch part 3, especially we go in depth about the draft.
Oh, yes.
But just in case you only watch part 1 with all of our news, next week we will not be here. I'm going on vacation with the lovely wife.
Yes.
So go back and watch our old videos. Go back and be entertained. But we will not be here, and we will go over all this stuff about the Cruiserweight Classic and everything else that goes on in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks, yes.
So we will see you in just a moment for part number 2.
Yeah, it's a pay-per-view review. I'm Mike Hogan.
I'm Justin Cotton.
We'll see you in a few clicks.